common thing that is holding people back from making millions of dollars is that they don't want to be the face of the brand. They want to hide, they want to be invincible. If you're here to be an entrepreneur and you've built this incredible business already and you know the next step for you to really go all in is this. You have to become iconic. Look at Alex Hormozi and Leila Hormozi. They have just defied the odds when it comes to, hey, we love hustle. We love working hard. We don't have a morning routine. We don't journal. We don't meditate. We don't do all this spiritual woo-woo stuff, but this is who we are. We believe in reps and we own that, and look at where we are. The second thing I want to talk about is from invincible to iconic. This is episode 134 on Keys to the Queendom with your host, Tamara Meyer. And I want to start with a little bit of a secret. I think we're rebranding our podcast. And not to worry, we still have 15 episodes to go until we make that shift and transition. But we're doing this because we're building an iconic brand. Now, Keys to the Queendom has started, 3 years ago, and we're evolving and growing. And this is a great opportunity for where this podcast is going to be a great segue in relation to what I want to talk about. The reason why I wanted to talk about this podcast specifically today was, one, I've been working with a lot of service-based business owners who have products, those who want to build a personal brand, coaches, entrepreneurs, founders. And the one thing that I've noticed as a big thing, a common thing that is holding people back from making millions of dollars is that they don't want to be the face of the brand. They want to hide, they want to be invincible, and I'm here to call you out, because here's the thing. If you're here to be an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, and you've built this incredible business already, and you know the next step for you to really go all in to building this business is this. You have to become iconic. You have to be the next, let's be real, Kim K of your show. And I've had to own that because, for a while there, your gal was a little bit like, nah, this is about other people. It is. But I've really honed in on the fact that I do want to be known. I want to be known for something good. I want to be known for something big. And in order for me to be that person, I need to step into this player, this person that really owns being significant in her field. And that gets to be you guys as well. So let's talk about why this is important for anyone that really wants to go from being invincible to being iconic. Most entrepreneurs hide behind their logos, their Canva posts, their graphics, only to realize that is what is holding them back. Why a pretty brand will not save a weak message. And here's something I want you to remember. When I first started in the fitness space, even as a professional dancer, I kind of winged it. And even though I was in industries, and whilst people say I'm extrovert and I'm out there and whatnot, confident, I wasn't always this way, guys. You've got to remember, I have adapted over time, going from 6 different schools growing up, being homeless. Your girl's probably the most insecure behind the scenes person who has worked on those insecurities to become part of her message, as well as also owning who she is as well. But here's the thing, if you want to be iconic, a lot of people want to hide behind the aesthetics. They want to hide behind, the graphics, the Canva post, looking perfectly put together. And here's the thing, that's all just a mask for really not owning who you are. And I'm the first person to, one, take ownership on that, because the truth is, only until I got into business coaching, only when I started to really become, AKA me, the speaker, the person who has always known who she is, was when I started to understand that my message was going to make an even greater impact to those that I wanted to work with. But if I was always vanilla or Switzerland or pretending to be someone I'm not, or hiding behind these facades or these things that were keeping me safe, those who want to be iconic, the Kim K's, the Mel Robinsons, the Stephen Bartlett's, the Gary V's, the Elon Musk's, the Drew Barrymores, the Oprah Winfrey's, the Tony Robbins, all these big names, they've all had something unique about them, and that is their message and owning who they are. And they weren't perfect, but they stuck to who they were and amplified that. And so being someone who, myself, who hid behind these graphics and I guess status quo of, you know, being a WBFF pro, being an athlete, being an AHP Labs sponsor, a Riderwear sponsor, all these things really weren't really, again, really being the core root of who I am as a person and my message. I realized I had to unlearn and relearn a whole heap of stuff to really go deep into who I am, what I stand for, what is my message. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm here for it. A great example is, look at Alex Hormozi and Leila Hormozi. They have just defied the odds when it comes to, hey, we love hustle. Hey, we love working hard. Hey, we don't have anything else besides our marriage and working. And hey, also, you know, we don't have a morning routine. We don't journal. We don't meditate. We don't do all this spiritual woo-woo stuff. But this is who we are. We believe in reps and we own that. And look at where we are. Their message is true to them. Now, I fell into this trap of being, you know, oh, I'm going to meditate. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But you know what? When you go back to the true essence of who you are, you're going to build a true business and a brand, and you're not going to be having to pretend to be someone you're not. So that's the first point I wanted to add. The second thing I want to talk about is the hidden danger of being too professional, where people forsake being polished to being raw, unfiltered, and real. Now, fallen for this trap myself. Here's me in my house with my camera. But the truth is, polished perfectionism, recovering perfectionist me would have gone, let's go to a studio, let's spend thousands of dollars on equipment hiring when I could actually really just have a conversation with you guys and get my message across, right? And here's the thing, every great person you know has started from somewhere that wasn't perfect, wasn't polished, and they grew to be someone they are now, right? So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be represented, recognized as someone who is put together and perfect. One of my clients who was a founder of a jewelry online store, Tamara Meyer, who an Australian national champion. And the reason I say that is they have been programmed and designed to be so detailed, so perfect in what they do. Naturally, of course, that's what is going to seep through their life, right? But there is an element of where we need to look at, what do people not see? That gets to be a point of difference. That gets to be iconic. Great example, again, going back into celebrities, you know, like Kim K was a porn star, you know, her family has been exposed, and yet her father was a lawyer and has done the most renowned cases in the world when it came to, you know, being someone that was recognized as a leader, a reputable person. Yet behind the scenes, this is what sells. People want to know more about the stuff that is unpolished, not perfect, messy, challenging, hard. And I've had to quickly own that as a brand myself, right? I was almost wanting to hide my, I guess you could say, my relationship, my own healing journey, my own belief, my own self-expression, moving to Queensland, even things that I thought, people are not going to buy this, but who gives a fuck if they're not going to buy or not, right? Because why pretend to be someone you're not when you can really own who you are and step into that? Perfect example of people that are making it in the industry because they stand for something more than them and they're not afraid to be more themselves. So if you're unpolished, great. Sorry, if you are polished, great. If you love to be perfectly put together, great. But talk about that. Talk about that being your point of difference. You know, as I said, like my client who is a jewelry maker and a national swimmer, naturally that makes sense. Two worlds of aesthetically pleasing jewelry that fits for people, yet also someone who is a swimmer that counts every second of a stroke, perfectly twined. Timing is everything, how she moves, routine and all. But you know what's really cool? What she does not express, the stuff that goes on her mind. And that gets to be more unpolished and exposed and unfiltered. And that's where people go wrong. So that's the second point when it comes to going from invincible to iconic. The third piece, authority building moves, which means speak your truth more to build recognition and being an expert. Own your story unapologetically. Show up every single day on your lives, on your stories, with your clients, doing the reps. That is what's going to get you to build your authority muscle. The biggest thing I have learned over the years and the relationships, the networks, the people I'm meeting more now is that authority gets to be a consistency piece. And I'm the most impatient person when it comes to this. But really, truly, as I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. John and I were just talking about this over lunch, and we have been making such big investments into our ads, into our mentors. We have 5, by the way, this very year. And we're doing all this stuff, but, the progression is a little bit slower. And it makes sense because when you want something sustainable and long, it's not a quick fix. But data shows progression in our CTR, progression in our ads, people clicking through our landing page. We're getting more leads on our calls. We're getting more people joining our empire. The thing is, we're thinking volume and scalability, but when you want to scale, things happen and take time, So what I believe in, and a great client of mine who's a friend now, Christina, says, follow the breadcrumbs. The greatest people that didn't just wake up one day and go, I've got this authority. Guys, look at me. They fucking worked hard. And my business is only 3 years old and we hit $500,000 last year. I'm being fucking impatient. So, if you're like, I didn't hit that 10K month, or, I posted every single day for 1 year and nothing happened. Well, fucking suck it up. You're not doing much. You're not working hard enough. We know this because we still fucking show up every day. Authority is consistency. Emotion drives the business to its peak, to its growth. And until you reach that level of fuck, you've made it, you have to, and I'm going to say this with absolute love and truth, fucking show up every single day. Because the truth is, all the great people you look up to didn't just wake up and go, I'm famous, I'm big, I'll look at all my money in my account. No, they didn't just blink and there it was. They fucking worked hard. And so authority is the same thing. Building an iconic brand is, you know what? You might feel silent for a year. You might not be recognized. And then one day something happens. And as I said, I follow the breadcrumbs every day. The thing is, and this is what's really important about gratitude and journaling and reflection, if you just look for the reward of a monetary value, a revenue or money, you're going to be defeated. But it's those moments where I was like, babe, I just got a text message and someone wants me to speak at their event. Or, hey, Dr. John DiMartini responded to my message and said, send me your media kit. Or, for example, John and I sitting at lunch and going, fuck, our CTR is growing. And in those micro moments when you're following the breadcrumbs, if you stuck to that, reflected in a year's time, you would see the progression. So going from being invincible to being iconic, I have to say it with Paris Hilton voice, means you have to fucking do the work, right? So here's some key takeaways from today's podcast. Number 1, authority is emotional first, logical is second. Perfect brands do not build loyalty, vulnerability does. Number 3, you must be seen and heard consistently to scale and be of influence. Rome wasn't built in a day, as I said, beautiful humans. And this is a wrap up of episode 134. As I said, guys, we are rebranding. We're going through a shift. There's another, when we get to 150, by the way, is when we have a bit of a pause to recoup. I was going to go up to 200 episodes, but that's as I said, we are rebranding. We're doing some big things, and that this episode is 134 means that 11 episodes in, oh my God, my math is so bad. No, it's 16 episodes in. When we get to 150 is when we're going to have a pause, because we're doing this because your girl's fucking growing and she's going to make some big moves. Anyway, I'm your host, Tamara Meyer, and this is Keys to the Queendom. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Invincible to Iconic Brands. See ya.
Amen for playing big today with authenticity, because here is the thing. It's not about being perfect on stage, perfectly put together, which is important, yes. It's about being who you are. What if right now, because of today, in a year's time, you can look back and go, I did that scary thing. And that's a year from now where you went and made that decision. I'm going all in, committed to doing the work. I'm committed because this is so much more than me. It's not about me anymore.